Is this the first time you've been back in Nottingham? You're in for Corey's or Clarkie's?
I'm back. No, I was at Clarkie's, and I couldn't come for Stevie Lee because of my knee, because I had a knee operation in December, and he didn't skate since. So I have no idea what I'm gonna do on Tuesday.
It's the first time since
It's my first time that I will be skating in almost a year and a half, if it's not two.
I'm sure it's like riding a bike, though, isn't it?
I don't know. I think I'll be okay, but I have no idea. I don't even know if my knee is okay.
There's only one way to
test
find
it.
out.
Yeah.
So is this your first?
The only thing I'm scared is I score like 3-4 goals and they offer me a contract. That I'm going to be scared of because I cannot accept it.
Well, I think just keep you away from Linger so he can't set you up. Because then you might both be sticking around for a while.
I know.
So this is your first time back in the city since then?
It's my first time since Clarkie testimonial. Yeah, I think it's been 5 or 6 years now.
Because you got in last night, didn't you?
I came over. I arrived yesterday morning. Yeah.
And is it as you remember it, or is it have you had a chance to even walk around? And
I walked around all day yesterday. I took a nap, and my first thing I did when I went in town, and I went in town. I met some fans. I had drinks with them, and I finished it at the poker room in town. So I played until 4 a.m. in the morning.
So that's why you wanted the extra hour for this.
I went to the extra hour. Yeah.
So Nottingham was the final place in your career. Where did ice hockey first come into the life of David Beauregard?
But where I'm from, all kids want to play hockey. Like it's our sports, and all kids were just dreaming to be professional hockey players and maybe one day playing for the Montreal Canadiens. So I just started to play when I was a kid, and it was a passion. And after all those years, it's still my passion, and I truly miss that game very much.
And was there any other sports when you were growing up, or was it just always just ice hockey?
No, I played baseball also. Like I was pretty good in baseball too, but I had to make a choice when I was young because I couldn't do both sports for a full year. So I decided to play hockey, and I think it was the right choice.
I think it worked out okay. So when was the first time you took to the ice then? When was the first time you put on a pair of skates?
My first year I skated, I was 4. And I wasn't really good, so I quit for 2 years, and I came back at 6 years old, and I didn't stop skating since then.
And who was your first team that you played for?
Oh, my first team was a minor league team back home in Montreal, so that wasn't a really memorable one. So they were just a small little teen teams.
And was it always out skated for you? Was it always forward?
I always been a forward. I always been an offensive player, and since I was young, I love scoring goals, and I had to make sure that I'm gonna score goals every year because I really enjoyed it.
And then on my little cheat sheet I've got here, the first year I've got down for you is 92-93, and I'm going to butcher the pronunciation of this, so I apologise.
It's okay.
It's Montreal Bourassa.
Yeah, he was in a midget AAA. Yeah,
that's the first one that they've got.
Yeah, that's a midget AAA. That's before I end up major junior.
And you had quite a prestigious teammate on that team in George Larac.
George Larac, yeah, he was he's still one of my friends, and he was really big. He was really impressive, and he improved his game so much because when he played with me, like nobody thought he would have that career he had, and he did really well.
And then you went from there to the QMJHL. What was the process of you going to St. Hyacinth Laser? Laser?
Laser, yeah. After my midget AAA, I got drafted for Saint-Hyacinthe, and I started my junior career there, and it's where everything started because it's the major step before getting drafted in the NHL or having maybe a chance to play professional hockey somewhere all over the world.
And then that end of that year, after scoring 56 points in 59 games, you did get drafted by the San Jose Sharks.
Yeah, I did get drafted, yeah.
What was that process? Is that a phone call? Because it says the 11th round. And
yeah,
it's just 7
yeah,
now,
I wasn't expecting at all to be drafted. During those years, size matters a lot, and I was really, really small. I was, I think, 148 pounds at 17 years old, so I wasn't expecting it. It was a great surprise, and I had to prove myself in a camp, and everything went really well, and my accident happened 1 year after.
Yeah, and then it was right at the start of the next year in October, wasn't it?
Yeah,
It's completely
I was kind of on
career-changing.
fire too because I had, I think, 15 goals in my first 12 games. Everything was doing really well, and the Sharks, because I was the last cut during the Sharks training camp one year prior to my accident. They told me to have a great year in junior and come back ready, and it's what happened. Like I had a great first 12 games. My accident happened, and after that, I couldn't sign any NHL contract, and I really thought my career was over. But I tried it back, and it worked really well.
And probably the most incredible thing about that accident was that you still managed to score the goal on the play where it happened.
Yeah, I don't know how, but I think that was just instinct. When I received a stick in my eye, I just kept skating, and I thought I couldn't see because of the swelling, maybe, or so. I just kept skating, and I scored, but I didn't even know. The only thing who didn't matter was my eye and why I couldn't see, and I think right away I knew it was probably my career was probably over.
And then you still managed to come back at the end of that season as well. Like you took the injury happened,
Yeah.
but you still
Yeah.
came back.
Yeah, I missed 3 months. But first, I never thought to make a comeback right away. I came back on the ice, and when the first time I came back on the ice, I think that was 4 or 5 days later. I was probably the worst player out there. I was hitting the board. I couldn't see anything, and I thought I was receiving passes on my blade, and that wasn't even close. But I was on the ice every single day. I was improving a lot, and in one point, I asked myself maybe I should just try to make a comeback and see. And I'm really glad today that I did try it, because it was a privilege having played so many years professionally after that accident.
And after with hockey, peripheral vision is a massive part of the game, isn't it? So to have to relearn everything, like where the boards are, that must have the mental strength to come through that is just incredible.
Yeah, I had to adjust everything, and off the ice also, but on the ice, it's a really fast and physical sport. So I had to make sure I was ready, or at least I wasn't too stupid to just make a comeback. So I really had to put myself in a position that I always knew what's going on my left side, and I was just like, it wasn't easy. It was really not easy, but I was working really hard, and it worked out well.
And did you go straight to a cage, or did you go straight to the bubble from that?
Oh, I went straight to the
I don't know if it's called a
visor
bubble.
and cage. Yeah. Like I lost my left eye with 3/4 visor, so I know it was a bad luck, but I didn't want that bad luck happen twice, because now I have only one eye, so I have to take care of it.
Yeah. And then after that season, you left St. Hyacinth and went to the Montcalm Wildcats.
Yeah.
What was the process of you moving junior teams?
The organization changed. The new coaches, new owners, all the new organization thought I wasn't the player that I was before, and they said I was a distraction for the team, because I was in the newspaper almost every day. And instead of the newspaper talk about the Saint-Hyacinthe Laser, they were talking about me all the time, and I think that was a distraction for the team. So that's the answer they gave me.
Well, they missed out because you got 61 points in 41 games.
Yeah, they regret it. Yeah, because in Christmas they tried to get me back, and I said no. So I still have one record in the major junior. It's not about the points. It's I got sold for $100,000 plus a player plus a first round pick, and after that sale, like the league avoid any players
With that kind of, like, with money.
buying.
Yeah.
They couldn't buy any more players after that.
So you're
that
the
was
last
crazy.
one.
I was the last one. Yeah, but no, he had some players before me, like Iraq. He got sold for 50,000 to Granby, but me, when they reached 100, after they sold me for 100 grand,
That was
the
it.
league stopped it. But I didn't see any of that money. So.
Oh. And then partway through that season, you moved teams again to Gatineau.
Yeah, in the Hull Olympics. What happened? It's when I went to Moncton. It's where I got sold to Hull, because Moncton had really big money problem that year. We changed owners 3 times.
Oh wow!
Yeah, that was before the it became the Wildcat. So we were the Moncton Alpines, and the ownership wasn't that good, and we had money problem. And I was the first goal scorer in that league in Christmas. So for a big push for playoffs, like good teams, they tried to get me, and it's the All Olympics who put the most money for getting me.
And then when you went to Hull, you managed to go on a really deep playoff run that year. You had 18 games.
Yeah, we lost against Beauport that year, and we just. I really thought we had the best team, but we didn't play like we were supposed to, and we lost them.
And then you stuck with Hull for another year.
Yeah, I started the year after. I started in the American Hockey League. I was in the American Hockey League for maybe
Kentucky.
Yeah, in Kentucky for maybe 2 months, and because I couldn't sign any NHL contract, I wasn't playing much. I think I played the first 5 games, and after that I was in a stand for maybe 10 in a row, and I was just 20. So, and the GM in Hull was calling me, saying, "Hey, we want you back. We want you back." So I went back to Hull, and we were 3 overage player there. That was the max. That was the rule, and one who was still in the NHL came back. So now we became 4, and they decided to trade me because I was the last one in from the year before. So I finished my junior career in Shawinigan.
And then I don't know if you crossed paths with with this guy when you were at Hull, but you had a former Panther on that team in Mario Larocque.
Yeah, I played with him. Yeah, I played with him for a full year. He was young when I played there, but yeah, he had a good career too.
And when you went to Shawinigan, as you said, went to another. They must have been another good team because they went on a playoff run afterwards, just the 7 games.
Yeah. What happened is we had a great team. We lost our number 1 goalie on our second game, and a kid of 16 years old kid took his place, and he never did the job. So we lost in 7 games against Giguère. Jean-Sébastien Giguère, who had a tremendous career in the NHL, and we lost against him. Yeah, and that was my last year in the Major Junior.
And one of your last teammates in Major Junior was Stéphane Robida.
Stéphane Robida, yeah,
a really good NHL career for himself.
Exactly. Yeah, I played with him also. Yeah, he was a really good junior, like a great guy too.
And when you see a guy like that, when you see him play, do you know he's going to make it?
We never know for sure because anything can happen. Junior, he's got some players who hit their peak really young and they will never improve, and others will get better and better and better with years. And but we know he had a great chance, and he was almost there because he was an outstanding defenseman with us.
And then once your junior career finished, were you dead set on going professional after that?
I tried it. I didn't know what would be my next steps. I didn't know any of the minor leagues, and I knew I couldn't sign an NHL contract, so my dream to play in NHL was done.
Because that's a rule they have, isn't it?
Yeah, but during that time, I'm not sure if it's still the rule, but so I had an agent, and he was receiving some phone calls from me, and I had no idea. So I went to the International League for a bit. I went to their training camp, and I didn't make it. So they sent me to their farm team in Wichita. That's where I started my pro career.
And you had a hell of a start to your pro career with 42 goals in just 57 games.
Yeah, I did really well. I remember my first game pro. I had 8 points. I think I had 3 goals, 5 assists. We won 16-1. My first game pro, I was +9, so I was good for all season. With my plus and minus, I was good. That was good for the
rest of the year. And do you remember the first pro goal that you scored?
I know that wasn't a pretty one. I think I was just in my office normally in front of the net, and I received a puck and I buried it.
And then when you know the rule in the NHL is that you can't go and play in the NHL because of the accident that happened, does that put a chip on your shoulder in your first professional year? Like you're trying to prove a point from then on?
Not really. Like I just accepted it. Like I was just glad to play hockey again, and I didn't thought about like anything. I'm what I think helped me the most in that it's I accept it. Like whatever's the decision we're taking, it was okay. Like me, I was just playing hockey, and that was the sport that I loved, and it was a passion. So it was a privilege.
And was there no offer to stay in Wichita after your first season?
Pardon me?
Was there no offer to stay in Wichita after your first professional season there?
Yeah, what happened? It's in the minor leagues, like you always go where the money is. So I had a great year. I received lots of offers, and it's always a 1-year contract. So I was
kind of like over here,
time.
sort of thing.
It's like here, yeah, exactly. So I was taking like the best choice for me, and I was young, so I could I could see the world, and me, I adapt everywhere. So that was really easy for me to change team every year.
And then because you went to Muskegon.
I went to Muskegon, yeah.
And then were you traded halfway through that year towards the back end to Flint?
Yeah, to Flint. We got cut for money, so we had to with the payroll and stuff. So we had to clean some money. So I went to Flint, and I finished a year there.
Because is the UHL, was that like the same level as the ECHL?
Yeah, it's the same thing.
So it's just a different...
UHL had just more money for players
okay.
than East Coast Hockey League. East Coast Hockey League is more for the young guys who wants to prove themselves and maybe get called up in the American Hockey League and have a chance to go higher. UHL was just like older players who wanted to make more money. It was a great league also, but...
So it wasn't like the affiliate program like with ECHL, AHL, NHL.
Some teams were, but not everyone. They were almost independent team.
And then after you go to Flint, again, 12-game playoff run with them. So it's another deep playoff run.
Yeah, we lost in the game 7 against Muskegon. And it was a tie. Remember that it was 3-3 in the end of the third period with 2 minutes left. And it was a one-on-one, and our D-man tripped. So the guy, he tripped on a one-on-one, so the guy scored with a minute 40 left, I think, in the third period, and we lost that series.
Just one of those games. It's one of those sports that just hinges on moments like that, isn't it?
You just can't do that.
No, you can't make it up either. And then after that season, you end up going to the ECHL.
What happened is I signed in England that year, in London.
Oh, over here?
With the London Knights. And after I signed, I received a phone call back that I couldn't play here because I didn't play in the East Coast or American Hockey League the year before that, because that was your rule. I had to play for the East Coast in East Coast Hockey League 1 year to make my move to the UK. So I chose an East Coast Hockey League team that year, and that was my worst year, one of my worst year ever. And after that I signed in the UK, I think like 12 years later.
Yeah. So you eventually made it over.
Yeah. A little bit too late.
Yeah, we'll get to Manchester shortly. We've still got some other teams to go through first.
Yeah, I know.
So you played at Greensboro, then Charlotte, and then you signed for Port Huron.
Yeah.
Huron?
Yeah,
Huron?
Port Huron, Michigan, yeah.
What are your memories of that team?
That was... I didn't know at all where it was. I received a phone call from a coach who was there. He was a French-Canadian coach, and he saw my stats over the year. He knew me. He knew my name, and he offered me a contract I couldn't refuse. So I went there, and I played 2 years there, and I came back after my Fort Wayne years.
And then you had, whilst you're at Port Huron, you had a goaltender that Panthers fans will be familiar with in Kevin St. Pierre.
Yeah, he was my best buddy. He's still my best friend from hockey.
What I remember about him, he was just huge. as a goalie.
He
like,
was a huge goalie. Yeah. Like he was unbelievable. I think it's one of the best goalie I saw in the minor league.
Because
with K-Ball.
isn't he missing a finger or something?
Yeah, that's the story. So 1 week before a training camp in Fort Wayne, he was working for his uncle in Quebec, and he was working to cut some metal pipes, and that accident happened, and the machine cut his finger, and a chance that was his glove hand.
Oh wow!
Because if it would be his stick hand, he would be able to play again.
Yeah.
So.
Because you can at least rest that in, kind of thing,
Yeah,
can't you?
and after that, over the years, me and him, we always say, if we go to the war together, he's gonna aim and I'm gonna pull the trigger.
It's always good to have that plan B.
always, we have to be ready.
And then, like you say, you took 2 years in Port Huron. You scored 50 goals in your second year, and then was it just another case of best offer out there was to Fort Wayne?
What happened is the Port Huron teams folded.
Oh, okay.
So they moved to Canton, Ohio. So during that time, I told them I didn't want to go in Canton, so they had to trade me. So they trained me for Brent Gretzky, who was in Fort Wayne. So I went to Fort Wayne. Brent Gretzky went to Canton, Ohio. 3 months before the season started, the Canton, Ohio team couldn't get a team, so the team went back to Port Huron. Yeah. And me, I was in Fort Wayne, and I won the cup that year.
You won your first championship.
That was my first championship, in Fort Wayne. That was probably the worst year in stats, but that was my best year overall with the group of guys we had. That was great.
And what was the feeling like to get you? Because obviously you've come close a few times to championships.
Yeah.
So deep. What was it like to finally?
You never know the feeling until you win, and that makes me a better player. Because after that, the only thing I wanted is just to win again and again and again, and always be in a team.
It's kind of like addictive.
It's a great feeling. Like you played so hard with that group of guys all year long, and you end up like reaching the only goal that everybody wanted. It's great.
And you say that it was a great team, it was a great group of guys. What do you think? Like, what was it about that team that made it so great?
Oh, it's team chemistry. Everybody was hanging along all together. Like, you had no egos in that team. Everybody knew their role. He has no jealousy. And the thing, it's we had a coach that nobody really liked, and we with the group of guys, we kept saying that we couldn't have like Ronald McDonald behind our bench and we were still winning the game. It's all good we were, and he had some newspaper back home that said our team was better than half of the American Hockey League team. So that was now we had a unbelievable group and great players.
Are there any particular moments from that run that stand out in your memory? Like, on the way to the championship, were there any moments that you think were key? Was there a result that wasn't going your way that you turned around?
No, not really, because all year long we kept winning and winning and winning. We finished first in the league, and I remember some games. One game, I remember Mohamed Ali came to our game, and he came to our dressing room and he signed autograph. He couldn't talk, but he signed autograph with us, and it was a sold out crowd, 12,000 people in Fort Wayne. And we broke the pro record. We allowed 3 shots on net all game long.
Oh, wow.
1 in the first, 2 in the second, 0 in the third. That was a 0-0 game until 6 minutes left in the game, and we scored. We won 1-0 that game.
And how many shots were you putting on the other net, mind?
Oh, I think we had like a 54 shots. That was ridiculous. We allowed only 3 shots.
Is it one of them?
How can you? But it's how good our team was.
Is it one of them? Yeah. As it was 0-0 going down, was it one of them where you're just thinking they're going to get one, it's going to bounce funny, and
we know that in the hockey world everything can happen. A bad bounce, anything. One shot can go in. So, but we kept playing, and finally It's a good thing that we scored.
Yeah, you wouldn't want to be the team that had 54 shots and lost.
Beat the record, 3 shots on net and lost the game. That would be unbelievable.
And then you left Fort Wayne the year after to go and play in the QSMHL.
Yeah, that was only. It's a league back home. It's a semi-pro league.
Okay.
And they were paying so much money that it was ridiculous. It was just a league for fighters. Like everybody.
Okay. So kind of like the LNAH gets that reputation.
It's exactly, but that was worse when I played there. But for skilled players, no one touched you.
Yeah.
But that was just like a 3.5 hours game long. That was so long. Like you could see like 10 fights that in one game, and but they were paying a lot. So I just stayed there until a bit, and until I figure out I can't stay here. Like I have to practice during the week, so I decided, and Fort Wayne's called me back, and I went back to Fort Wayne.
And then you went back to Fort Wayne, another good year for yourself, 69 points, 57 games, and another play. And you didn't manage to retain your crown, but you still went to the second round of the playoffs.
Yeah, we had a lot of injury that year, and we were still the best team on paper. But something went wrong between the coach and the players, and it shows. Like that wasn't the same fire when we played in the end, and I think most of the players were kind of tired, tired of the coach. So we lost.
And then you've got a teammate on that Fort Wayne team who's still in the Elite League to this day. He's not playing anymore. He's coaching in Coventry.
Danny Stewart. Yeah, Danny Stewart.
What do you remember about Danny?
Oh, great guy. Like great players. He worked hard every single games, and his brother played with him, and that was the funny. Like I remember, like they got stopped by the cops in the street because both brothers were yelling at each other, and they were too noisy for the town. Imagine that, 2 brothers fighting in the street just for no reason. So yeah, but it was a fun year. Like it was always fun to talk to him.
And then you moved back to Port Huron after that.
Yeah, I moved back to Port Huron because I got married to a girl from there, so I decided to go back for her so she can still teach in her hometown.
And then also that year you played one game in the LNAH.
Yeah, that was just to
Sorrel Tracy mission.
Yeah. They wanted me just for the first home game. I said, oh, why not? I'll play one game before I go back to the stage just to get in shape. So I went there for one game. That was fun.
Not bad leaving it with 3 points in one game. Was that another one where it's just lots of fighting and you?
No, it's the same thing. Like we had great skilled players, but that was still a fighting league. So, but I was there for one game, and I got hurt. I got hurt in the end of the third period. Like I had a sprained ligament in my knee, so I missed the full training camp. When I went back to the States, how did you do that? I don't know. I fell in the stairs.
Well, at least it wasn't one of the big guys caught you kind of thing.
Yeah, I know. That's a good thing. Yeah.
And then after that, you moved to Roanoke from Port Huron.
Port Huron team moved to Roanoke.
Oh, okay.
Now, yeah. So Port Huron moved to Roanoke. I decided to follow my coach who was there, and my coach resigned 2 weeks before the training camp, and he didn't sign any players. So we had a terrible team. So we were losing almost every single game, and one of the top team in the league called to get me for the playoff runs, and I went to Danbury.
Danbury Thrash is where you were reunited with Mario Larocque.
Exactly, and I'm not sure if you heard, but I'm gonna be on Netflix on March 20th because they made a documentary about that team.
Okay.
Because what happened in that team, our team was owned by a big name of the mafia, and he decided to put a lot of money from his own pocket and started a hockey team without really knowing the hockey world. He just had tons of money. So we had the scariest team out there. We bullied every single team, and that documentary on Netflix will be on that, about the owners, about the team, and it's gonna be on March 20 on Netflix. So.
Did you get interviewed for that, though?
Yeah. I flew there just to get an interview. And my interview lasted, I think, 4 hours. So.
I don't think we've got that long for this one. So. No, but I haven't heard that, so that could be breaking news. That's quite exciting.
I think it's gonna be funny more because it's a funny story. Because my owner went in jail for 6 or 7 years.
Oh wow!
And he got out, and so all the story is gonna be about that. And his son was 17 at this time. He was the president and GM. That was kind of really, yeah. But that was the team, and it's him who got me by trade, and
you must be looking.
I think he said I was his crown jewels when I think he said that on Netflix. That's it.
You must be looking forward to watching that documentary when it comes out next year. Then.
Yeah, but I have no idea how it's gonna come out. I have no clue. So what's kind of I don't know.
So when you got that,
so I hope I didn't say anything bad.
Well, this could be the last time you're on camera.
Well, maybe.
So when you get that phone call to go on Netflix, were you like, "Oh, cool"? Is that just? Did they just call you up out of the blue?
They called me and they said I was one of the players that the team wanted to get an interview with, and I said why not? I just had to plan when it would be the best time, and they flew me there. They rent me a car, and I drove there. There was a really quick in and out in Danbury, but I did it.
Whilst you playing Danbury for 14 plus 18 playoff games, what would you say the craziest thing you saw there was, apart from a 17-year-old being the president and GM of the team?
Nothing was surprising with Danbury Trashers. If you just knew, like the owner beat up a ref after the game because he didn't like a call, but everything was kind of not okay, but
swept under the carpet.
Yeah. But I think it was great for the league because lots of money and it was an experience. Like the money wasn't the problem there. Like for players, we were treated like
kings.
Oh yeah, unbelievable. For minor leagues, that was unreal.
And then, like I say, you went on a deep playoff run with that team.
We lost in a final against Kalamazoo. Yeah.
Was that a 7-game series, the last one, or was it?
I think we lost in 6. They had a great team. I still think that we had the best team on paper, but Kalamazoo played better than us on the ice, and they deserved it.
And then you went from there to a team that you've been around for a lot in Tulsa.
In Tulsa, but
the second year you're in Tulsa.
Danbury Trasher folded because the owner went in jail, so no more team. So I was free again, and I received a phone call early summer saying that they wanted me as the captain. They wanted me to take care of the team. They were going in a new direction, and I like warm weather, and I know there was a warm place. And I went to Tulsa, and I really, really enjoyed it.
And you enjoyed it so much you stuck around for a second year, where you were reunited with one of your best friends, Kevin St. Pierre, again.
Yeah, I brought him. With me, and it was fun. Like every time we had a chance to play together, we were doing it. Like we always call each other and try to play together. And it almost happened here because he signed here.
You got a few.
So I came and I signed here too. And he decided to not leave his family again, and it's how Killer came.
I think you still got 2 games with him up in Edinburgh, though. From what I remember, he came in as like an emergency.
That's right. I can't remember which year. I think that was the second year or the first year.
I can't remember.
The first year when Killer went down.
Yeah.
As an injury.
It was a double header up in Edinburgh.
It's true. Yeah, he came. That's right. Yeah. Great memories. Great time.
And then after your 2 years in Tulsa, you finally make it over to England with the Manchester Phoenix.
That's right, yeah.
Were you looking to go abroad then? You had enough?
I was ready, and I received a phone call from nowhere. I think I received a message from Facebook saying that we really wanted me in England, in Manchester. And for me, it would be like, you know what? It could be a great experience. I never been I never played in Europe, so let's go for it.
And especially in such a big city as well, because that's when they were playing in the big arena, wasn't it?
No,
were they not?
When I was there, I was playing the Altrincham.
Oh, okay, sorry.
Altrincham Arena, yeah. So but
still-
it was the best decision in my career for the rest of my career, because I really, really enjoyed it.
And then you were playing with Tony Hand. And
I play with Tony and
was he on your line?
he was on my line. Yeah. He's the one who was feeding me all game long.
And then you also
I felt sorry for the other winger. I think he was just looking at me for every single shape. I don't even know. I felt bad for the other winger.
Was it Luke Fulgham?
Luke Fulgham, yeah, great players, great
Because
guy.
he had a good few
he
good
was a
years.
really good player too, and we had a great line. Yeah, that was fun.
Because he had some good years at Coventry.
In Coventry,
Afterwards.
yeah.
Because you also had an quite an EIHL stalwart in goal that year as well, in Stephen Murphy.
Stephen Murphy, yeah, that's right. Yeah, he was. I couldn't believe how agile he was. Like, he was really like acrobatic, and he was really good.
And then he became an opponent for 2 years.
Yeah,
after
that's
that.
right.
So
Yeah,
it must have been cool to score a few past him.
But he knew what I was doing, and I knew what he was thinking. So that was kind of a mind game every single time. And my first Panther, and I remember my first goal with the Panthers, that was against Stephen Murphy.
Did you let him know after the game?
And I knew exactly the move I always do, and he knew it. So I told myself, I'm gonna do it because he's gonna thought I won't doing it, and I did it, and it worked.
So it's like a triple double bluff. kind of
Exactly.
thing.
I had to think like what he's gonna think I'm gonna do. So
It's like, I remember Jay Galbraith. He had two moves in the shootout. He had the quick shot through the 5-hole and the one where he dragged it to the backhand. You never knew which one he was going to go with.
yeah,
I think yours was go down the right, cut in and go over the blocker.
exactly. All the
If
time.
if I remember
Yeah,
correctly.
exactly. Yeah. I have two videos of two penalty shots I did against the same goalie, against the 5 goalie.
Was it
It's
Zemlak?
too-
That one where he made like 50 saves.
And if I can't remember, but if I showed those two clips, it's two different ones, and no one could tell that was two different ones. The way I skated, I went exactly the same place, same thing, same stick and link, same move, same goal, on two different clips. That was funny, yeah.
I remember a penalty shot you took against Fife in the last minute of a game.
But
where that goalie
it's
kept,
one of that one, yeah.
where he kept kicking the net up.
Yes,
and eventually,
yes, and he sent me,
Yeah, and then
and
he
he sent me, and I remember like how Corey was, because he sent me like every player said, "Bo, you take it," and Corey just asked me, "Are you sure you want to take it? Are you sure you're okay?" And I told him like, he knew that I always wanted to be the players to get that shot.
that moment, just you in the arena with the goalie, kind of thing.
Yeah, because I had so much confidence. It was a little bit. I'm not a cocky player, but I knew every time that I could be the guy for doing it, because I had really big confidence in myself, and me. I play hockey for those moments.
Yeah.
And I wanted to be there.
And then when you say like you say you had the one move you like to do on the shootout, does that become more tricky when you go up against the goalie who's right-handed? Like, I remember one of the years you played, it was up against Peter Hirsch in Coventry.
Yeah.
And he's obviously got the glove on the other hand. Does that make
Yeah,
it...
that's different. Yeah. I have to change a little bit my move, but I always find a way to score goals, and so and normally I never knew like what I was going to do. That was more instinct, but in the end of my career, that move worked every single time. So why I would change that?
There's no point learning anything else, is there?
No.
And then after Manchester, you went to go and play abroad again. You went to
Italy, yeah.
Valpellice.
Yeah.
And you were telling me that you had quite an interesting story out there. You were telling me.
I can speak Italian, huh? So, and we were in a really small village over there, and he had one electronic store that all the players were going to get phones and internet. And I didn't know really his name, and but he spoke English really well. So my first time there, I was in a store, and the phone rang and he answered and he says Pronto. So I said, okay, perfect. So and he was a great guy, and I was giving him tickets, and I was like, he was with us, and I presented him to everybody. This is Pronto, and I was calling him everywhere. Hey, Pronto, do you want beers? Do you want beers? And he was saying yes, 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 yes. And he wasn't like that for a month and a half. I was calling him, hey, Pronto, do you have like my cell phone? And he was answering me. Until I was in a restaurant one day and a woman answered the phone and she says, Pronto. I figured out that all the Italians person, every time they answer the phone, says Pronto, and the guy's name was Giovanni. And and I felt so stupid and so bad for him. He never told me that his name was Giovanni and I was calling him Pronto for all those weeks and everywhere.
Did he bring it up after you said, did you go up to him and say, why didn't you tell me?
I did, and I don't know what it says. He was laughing, and I said, imagine that, like, calling, yelling Pronto all over the bars, and everybody was looking, what is he saying?
Sure, yeah, that's me.
Yeah.
He must have just really liked you buying him beers.
I have no idea but that was a funny one.
And then when you're out there, you're playing with a Manchester Phoenix teammate in Kenton Smith.
Yep.
Who went to Cardiff for a few years.
That's
afterwards.
right, yep.
And there's also the first time you get to meet Craig Kowalski.
Keller, yeah, he was our goalie there, and it's the first time I met him there. He was an unbelievable goalie. We had a really bad team there too, so he received tons of shots, and it's that year that he scored a goal at home in Italy. Yeah, that was his first goal.
That trick he'd replicate against Asiago when we played them in the pre-season tournament over here. It was at the start of the 2012-13 season. So
okay.
You know the one where you came back in January?
Yeah.
He scored in the pre-season.
Oh, he scored in pre-season?
Yeah.
Really? I didn't know.
I will dig
maybe...
the goal. When we finished, I'll show you.
Okay.
It was the year you came, when we won the Grand Slam. So you came back in January. In the pre-season against Asiago, he scored empty
really?
net.
Oh, okay.
So when we finished, I'll show you.
Okay, yeah.
So I'm thinking about. I remember now that Jason Beckett played that, so you won't have been there at that point in time. So then you left Italy to go back to Tulsa.
That's right, because my wife couldn't travel with me, so I decided to play where our house was, and I decided to play there, and that it didn't go really well. I was an older player there, and I didn't feel that I was... it was the right place for me, so that's why Corey called me and he said, we need a guy like you. You won't be playing much, but be ready if he's got an injury. I just want you here for the team and for us.
That was 2012-13. I was talking about when you left Valpolis to go to Tulsa.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Yeah,
because what happened in Europe, we finished earlier.
Yeah.
And we still have
there's still time left
to go back to and sign with a league over there. Yeah.
And Tulsa, just you liked the place, so you went back.
Same
I lived
reason. There. My house was there, so that was easy to just sign with a team in where I live and finish the year with them.
Yeah, and then after that, you get the call from Corey.
Saying, I got a call.
Do you want to
come
come and
Corey.
play for Nottingham?
Exactly. Yeah. And then right away I said yes right away.
And that's pretty early on in the summer as well, because from what I've seen, the press announcement was on the 21st of April. So you were one of the first guys signed up that year.
Well, he was with me for full year, just before, because he called me before I signed in Italy.
Oh, so after Manchester.
After Manchester, he wanted me, and that was between here and Italy, and I just wanted to try another country, and I tried it, but when he called me back, I said yes right away. I just wanted to, because I remember my games here with the crowd, the arena. And I just heard great things about the team here, and that was a quick yes. And the only regret I have in my career that I didn't sign here way before my career. I wanted to play here for many years, but I only play here 3 years, and yeah.
And then just under 3 months after you signed, that's when you see the news that Craig Kowalski is signed because your good friend has decided not to.
Exactly. Kevin and Pierre signed here, and we were kind of excited. And after that, he decided to stay home, and we needed a goalie. And Corey called me about killer, and I told him right away, sign him, like get him here. And he was after he was my roommate for the full year and we played together against the Boston Bruins that year.
That's pretty cool.
In Belfast.
That's the game where Jade scored, wasn't it?
That's right. Yeah.
That must have been quite an experience.
It was a great experience, and especially like the Boston Bruin coach was Claude Julien that time. He was my coach in Hull.
Oh, that's
so
cool.
I talked to him, and Patrice Bergeron, who was their best player, was my brother centerman in junior.
Oh, that's cool.
I talked to him, so it was fun.
Well, that game must have gone down well, because that picture is still your one on the Elite Prospects.
That's right.
It's not a Panthers picture.
It looks like I play for Belfast at that,
I know.
that one.
So then your first league game that season, if my memory serves me correctly, would have been against Belfast. So against your former teammate, Stephen Murphy.
That's right, yeah.
Because if I'm really remembering it correctly, and this will either be really sad or really impressive if I get this right, it was 3-3 and went to a shootout. And it's the one where I think Jade scored, but the referee waved it off. Then he scored again, and he started pointing at the goal. If I remember it correctly.
It's possible. I don't remember. The only thing I remember is I scored my first goal against Stephen Murphy in penalty killing from a pass of Danny Myers.
Oh, okay.
That's I remember that.
I think Alex Penn had a fight with the big guy, Mike Hoffman. I think.
It's possible too.
If I'm remembering it correctly, if I'm wrong, I guarantee I'll be corrected on Twitter or something after.
No,
this.
it's possible. It's possible.
And then that year, it started well. It went a bit downhill as the season wore on. What do you remember about that team and the at that point? Because obviously the season finished on a massive high with the double.
Yeah.
But in the middle period, because obviously the league championship is the big trophy over here. What do you remember about that season up to that point?
We had some the first half of the season. We had a huge up and downs. We had a great teams who couldn't put wins together. We were winning 2, losing 1, winning 3, losing 2, winning 4, losing 1, and but the good thing in that is we had an unbelievable group of guys. We get along with everyone. And I remember one time we lost against Newcastle in Whitley Bay, and we weren't supposed to lose against that team.
The thing I remember about Newcastle is that
the owner, Gary, we had a meeting in the dressing room. They were so upset on us, and we knew we had a bad game, but that happens in hockey. And after that we had a meeting with players. We talked to each other and just say, hey, guys, we are better. We can be way better than that, and we have to start just focusing on just doing everything well in practices. Just work hard, having fun, and we just start after that winning and winning and winning, and it was like we had only one goal. It's to reach with the 2 cups left. In a season, it was our goal to win both of them. We were out of the game for the league standing, but we still had the Challenge Cup and playoffs. And it was the great run after that. And everybody was just going together. Corey did an unbelievable job, and the players just followed it.
And it's just that meeting was the turning point in the whole season. Because to still finish with 2 championships at the end, especially after going through that, and you say losing in Whitley Bay. And one of my only recollections of Whitley Bay is how the paint of the ice in the middle didn't go all the way to the edge.
That arena was a joke. I never seen that in my life.
So cold as well.
10 netting behind every goal. The puck was still in play because you had no glass. That was just a net.
Yeah.
And everybody was just waiting at the puck went down. No, that was anyway.
Well,
we lost that game, but.
Yeah, one of my favourite features of a rink in the league is the disco ball in Hull.
That's right. Yeah. That's no.
You chip it out, you just hit it.
If you think that's a that wasn't that. Seriously, in all the arena I played, that was the worst I ever seen.
Newcastle, Hull.
That Whitley Bay.
Oh,
But Newcastle play there.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah.
Yeah, we play Newcastle.
Yeah. So then at the end of that season, there's a few new recruits that come in. You get like Jeff Harima comes in, Daniel Kachuk comes in, and you end up playing on a line with those two guys. How was that? Bear in mind, they're guys who played in the NHL. They were high level, older guys. What do you remember about playing with those two?
He made my job so much easier. Like, they were really smart, good players, and Dan was more defensive player with really good offensive skill, and Jeffrey Remo had his unbelievable shot. His wrist shot and he knew where to go on the ice, and it was just jam. Like, we knew what everyone was doing on the ice, and we had fun. It's all about having fun.
And then Daniel got hurt towards the end of that year as well. So then at the end of when the playoffs came around, I think he was rotating every other shift.
It's possible. I don't remember that.
With Mark,
I don't remember all that stuff. It's fine. It's me who played a game. I don't remember that stuff. But it's possible.
You could ask me what I did yesterday. I wouldn't be able to tell you. This stuff sticks in here. So, and then in the playoff series that year, you had to go through two of the best teams in the league to win the playoff championship at the playoff finals weekend. Because the first game was against Sheffield, who are the league champions.
Yeah, that's right. And I can't remember what happened. I know that we won.
Overtime.
In overtime?
Lacko scored.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Lacko scored that one.
It's a bit of a crazy game.
I forgot about that.
Because K-Wall saved a penalty from their coach during the game. And then Mark Lever scored this, just threw a backhand on goal. And their goalie just couldn't get his glove. Because that's when they had Mustakovs, he was a giant guy.
Yeah.
Didn't move overly well, but he was just massive.
Yeah.
And then you get through that Sheffield team to then go and take on a Cardiff team that had set all kinds of records after they picked up Craig Weller.
Yeah.
What do you remember about going into that game against those? Because obviously we were on a roll going into the playoffs, and they were on a major roll going into the playoffs.
For myself, it was the first time. I always wanted to win games, but that's the game that exactly the game I didn't want to lose. If one game in all my career I didn't want to lose, that was that one. I didn't want any Cardiff players to win that championship that year. That was our cups, and I remember, like, after the second period, we were down by one, and that game, I know all about it.
Finally, we've got one.
Finally, yeah, that one I know all about it. And they had a great team. We didn't like the players in the other side as type of hockey players, and not the human being, but as type of players.
Well, it's like Ryan Finnerty, like on the ice.
Finnerty, Vaught, Weller, whatever, all the others.
Because Weller was an incredible player.
Really good. He did really, really, really well, and we worked so hard to get there, and that was hard, and because we were down 2-0 in the first period. We were down by 2. After that, we scored right away on a face-off. That was 2-1.
So it was you that scored that.
I scored on a tip on a shot of
Danny Myers.
Danny Myers, that's right. And I believe we scored again.
I think they went up early in the because they got the first. They got first, and they got the one that went off Corey's stick. The one that looked like a high stick, but it went off Corey.
That was the second goal.
Yeah. Then I think Finnerty scored early in the second period, or it might have been early in the third. I can't remember.
Yeah.
I think it was. I think it went down to. I think we went 3-1 down, and then it was either Jeff or Jade. Because Jeff got the goal. Like, I have no idea to this day how it went in. You know, where it like just bobbled. Through.
It was Jeffy Rima.
Yeah.
That one. Yeah. And so. And I remember right in the end of the second period, I think it was a tie game. Brad Vaught turned around and scored, and they gave the 1-goal lead in after 2. And I was in the dressing room, and I couldn't. No, for me that was impossible to lose that game. So we had to find, and who scored that beautiful goal?
Billy Ryan.
Billy Ryan. Oh my gosh,
through
what a goal!
through the middle,
through the D-man, and it shelf it. That was unreal. And I think during that moment, when he scored, like we just kept rolling, and it was like the wind turned around for us, and we end up winning that game.
And then you scored the game-winning goal in that game.
Yeah.
From an angle that didn't seem possible. Did you see a gap, or were you just putting the puck on goal?
No. I what happened? It's I went behind the net, and I wanted to make a play, and I knew that the goalie wasn't ready, and I said, I should try it. Because when I turned around, he was expecting a pass, and I know he had a hole between his pads, and I just tried it, and it worked.
And that was
I don't think it was a pretty goal, but
it's one that lives in the memory, though. People remember Billy's for, like you say, how beautiful it was. But I think yours is one that sticks in that jersey. I think is still in the foyer.
It is, yeah, it is. I took a picture. Yes, yesterday out of it. Yeah, it's still there.
And then, what do you remember about when that puck goes in? What do you remember? Or was it just like blackout?
That was such an intense game, and that was so hard. Like that was goals after goals after goals. And when we took the lead for the first time in the game, we didn't want to lose that lead. And I know with our group of guys, it's probably the goal who was giving us the championship, and it's exactly what happened. We kept the lead, and they got frustrated, and we had like a 5-on-3 for the last 2 minutes in the game, I think. So that was a unbelievable moment.
And then
one of the top.
And then, like I said, the guys on that team, you got your Kachuks, your Harimas, Danny Myers, you got Guy Lepin, who is still in Nottingham. What do you remember about Guy that year? Because that's when he was meant to sign for Hull originally, and he came to Nottingham when they dropped out. What do you remember about Guy from that year?
Guy was such a huge presence on the blue line. He was so tough, and he was a really good defenseman who can skate, can shoot, can hit. He was always there to protect his player, and his presence on the ice was huge. And
because he's a guy who really developed in Nottingham, wasn't he? Like when he came in, he had the reputation of just being a fighter, and then by the end of the year, everyone thought that guy is one of the premier defensemen in this league.
I think that was the wrong idea from the people. Like, it wasn't just he never was just a fighter. I think because he was big, and that was kind of his job in the beginning. But I knew that he was more than that, and he showed it. But because he was a really, really good skater, he was big but fast, strong, and
some of those hits he delivered were.
I was happy having in my team.
You wouldn't want that guy to catch you with your head down, would you?
Yeah, so had to keep your head up.
And then was it just a no-brainer to re-sign in Nottingham after that?
That was right away.
Was
right away. And the thing too, it's I didn't have like kind of a great year in Nottingham. I think people was expecting to me better. Same for myself. I was expecting a better too, because I scored many goals, but not as many as 1 and 2 after my year in Manchester. And I had some struggles for maybe a month, and I remember Corey felt a little bit bad, and he was asking me what's going on. I said I don't know, I'll keep working, and hopefully and in the end of the season I went on the roll, and at least I was there when it was important.
And then you were playing a lot on the penalty kill that year as well, weren't you? I remember you blocking shots and things. Like, you weren't just the goal scorer. You were doing all sorts for that team.
I became a really, really good penalty killing in my career, and I took a big pride on that. For me, that was just yes, I was an offensive player, but I just love to kill penalties to help the team as much as I can, and I had a sense to block shots, but more to anticipate the other players' play. So
because you were a forward, you knew what they were thinking.
But
kind of thing.
I was making them to do what I want.
Yeah, you were forcing them into.
Yeah, I was forcing them in one way.
Yeah.
So, and after that, I was just more like I was outplaying them without having the puck.
And then when you come back to Nottingham, it's a completely different group of players. That's the year when it's Jordan Fox, it's Brock Wilson, it's some of the Matt Francis is there.
Matt Francis, yeah.
What do you remember about the new group that came in that year?
That was a different group, but still great guys. And like, if there's good hockey players with great guys, you can achieve a lot of things. And it's exactly what happened. You know, like it's never. It always takes time to know everyone, but I think it clicked almost right away.
And then at the back end of that season, you end up playing with Jordan Fox and Brandon Benedict.
Yeah.
And the story goes that Corey was planning on splitting you three guys up, and you told him not to.
Do you know what? It's one thing I don't remember, but I remember our line was a moment that they put us three together. That was kind of a really good chemistry too. Like
because you all brought
Jordan
different
Fox
role.
was an unbelievable playmaker, unbelievable skill player. Brendan was working hard every single shift, and me, I was just completing all the line with what I had to do.
And then that was another year where you won another double.
Yeah,
And you had another major influence in a playoff final.
that's right. Yeah,
And that was a much tighter game than the last one.
that was 0-0 until
Till someone left you all alone in front of the goal.
yeah, what a mistake they made. That was right after a face-off, and
I bet you couldn't believe you were in so much space, could you? After such a game where it's just so tight, then you get.
I couldn't. That happened so quick, and I don't know like what the demon was doing or what happened, but the moment that Jordan had the puck, I knew the puck was coming to me, and before the puck arrived on my blade, I knew exactly which move I would have make because I knew what the goalie is gonna do, and that was unbelievable feeling. It was like if I scored my first goal or my last goal in my career, because I knew it was the goal who's going to make us champion.
And then Clarkey hits the empty netter, and then
Exactly.
all
in
the
end,
all the
just
tension.
all the tension over again and champion again for
So
playoffs.
that's four trophies in
That's
2
what
years.
that's why we play hockey for those moments. Be there, and I miss all those moments so much right now. But at least I can't see it. I can see it on YouTube because it's all there. But yeah, just great moments.
And then that's 4 championships in 2 years in Nottingham. So it must, like you say, it must have been hard to go back to Tulsa after those 2 seasons.
Yeah, like I went back to Tulsa because my wife couldn't follow me anymore, and I decided, okay, it's maybe time to play where my house was, and it was okay, but that wasn't great. I wasn't feeling that it was the right place for me, and I received a call from Corey saying that he wanted me here. I'll be here like as a spare in case if somebody got hurt. And I said yes right away because I knew it was probably my last year playing, and I wanted to finish it at the right place where I belong. And I came back. And it was another great year for the team.
And when you re-signed for that last stretch from January onwards, were you aware of just how good the team was playing at that time?
Oh yeah, I followed them. Like I followed them, and there was another unbelievable team. I thought I had like 2 great teams the 2 years prior, that one, and that one was even better, and that was magic.
And then when you come into a locker room that's the team that's playing well, you come into a locker room in January. What was that like coming in as the new guy at that point? So that you and Kelsey must have come in quite not far from each other. Kelsey Wilson.
But Kelsey,
He must have been December, and you must have been January.
I didn't know him, but he was my roommate when I was here. But no, like that was all great group of guys. I had a great welcome, and they all knew that I was there in case of injuries. So no, that was an easy.
And that was a team that was just full of characters and things. And Kelsey was one of them because he made quite an impression. Like as soon as he got here in Sheffield, I think a lot of people remember.
No, yeah, he was tough. He was exactly the type of players that we needed. He was really physical. His presence on the ice he was a great guy too. So no.
And then that year was the year that David Ling was in Nottingham. I think a lot of Panthers fans, myself included, would have loved to have seen you out there with David Ling on the other side.
Yeah, what a character! A great players. He was funny. Like he was a really funny guy, and I think that was good for the league, good for the fans, and I think the Panthers. It was great for them to having him.
And what do you think it was about that team cleaned house? They won all the major championships over here in one season. And you came in January. Could you tell how close everyone was in that group?
I could see it, yes, but it's how good the players were. Like they were all good players, skilled players, great guys, and they knew their jobs, and they were really like relentless. And game after game, like he was a team with a huge offensive powerhouse. And I think and he kept proving it game after game after game, and we ended up winning everything.
And that was a year where Corey started as a player coach, and he got injured really early on. What did you find? What did you see any difference between him as a player coach from when you first came over to him then being a bench coach?
I think like Corey just being the coach has way less pressure because he could just concentrate on coaching and not doing both. It's always hard for a player coach to do both, especially when you have to show your games on the ice. And sometimes when you're not playing well on the ice, it's a little bit harder to coach because you feel kind of bad sometimes when you're not doing well. And but Corey was a fantastic coach. Like he's a great friend, great guy, and I was truly blessed to spend 3 years with him because he was a really good coach.
So he was a real players coach, wasn't he? Like players loved playing for Corey Nielsen.
Exactly, but he knew, he played the game, and he had his way to coach and talk to players. But Corey is Corey. He great guy, but he knew how a player feel or felt. He knew because he played, and it's always easier, and he did it really well.
And how did you find Jordan Fox as the captain when you came in? Because I think when he was named the captain, it was Panthers fans everywhere were like, yes, he is a captain of this team.
Yeah.
How did you find him when you came? Because obviously when you played with him before, Danny Myers was the captain, and then when you come back, Jordan's got the same.
No, that was a great choice. Like he was working hard, and a great guy in the dressing room, and a great leader. So he could have picked almost anyone in that team to be captain, and it would be a great choice. So Jordan, he was a great captain, and I'm glad that he was there for those 3 championships.
And then you got to ice in 5 regular season games that year. I still managed to pick up 5 points in those regular season games.
Yeah.
Was that a testament to the team that you could just fit in so seamlessly? Do you think, or was that just you're just ready to go whenever you're called?
I had to be ready. I knew I wasn't going to play because that was Corey. He made sure with me you're here, but you will only play if injury, because he didn't want to break the chemistry that they were winning without me, and I agreed to it. So, but yes, it was hard because when you don't play for 3 weeks and right away you said you have to play a game. I'm especially when you're a goal scorer, you need that ice time. You need to feel it. Like a game, it's not like a practice. Yes, I was practicing more than the others but a game's still a game. You cannot compare practices and games. So that was it was the first time in my career I was in that position. Yeah. So yes, it was hard, but it was fun at the same time being part of that team. And
then that year you came back, there was already a number 9 on the team, so you had to wear 90. Is a number important to you, or?
No, not really. I
know some guys it matters. Gallivan.
He was wearing 9, and he wasn't a big deal. And I wasn't like the real. I was part of of the team, but I was more like an outsider that year
Yeah.
and be ready. So it wasn't a big deal.
I know for some guys the number's really important.
But yes, this number it's important. But at
for that moment,
38 years old, it's whenever. I was just happy to be here in Nottingham with the other guys, and
then,
I could have wear a 0 and it would be fine.
And then I remember that year the playoffs. We went up to Fife for the first leg of the playoffs. We lost 4-2, and then you get put in the second game. What did Corey say to you before that second game? That we needed to work with 2 goals down going into the. Because that's a big moment to put you back in.
It was huge, and no one was happy about that. But we knew with our team, especially in front of our crowd, that we will. If we played our game, would be. It's going to be fine, and it's exactly. It's what happened. Like, I think we scored 3 straight goals, and
I think it was 3-0 in the end.
Yeah, that was 3-0, and it was just a question of time.
And then to have that as your last game that you actually played in, that was a pretty cool moment to get to play in the game that took the team to the playoffs.
I don't remember that game. I was playing that game.
Not the playoff final.
I know.
The second leg of the quarter final.
I played.
Yeah, you got an assist.
I don't even know. I don't even know which game I played. I remember I scored my goal in Hull. That's the only thing I remember. But
so talk me through that
your
goal.
Your questions are hard. I don't know. I know.
Well, if you're like this, I can't imagine what Linger's going to be like tomorrow. He said I've got to send him a reminder to make sure he knows he's doing this.
Oh, so I played. Oh, great. Okay, I didn't know.
So talk me through your goal in Hull.
So how come I played? Who got hurt?
No, I think they dropped someone because we were 2 goals down. So I think Kelsey missed out.
Oh,
they
really?
put you in because you were more of a goal threat, obviously.
Yeah.
And that's what we.
Oh, okay.
And I think they had 2 goals disallowed in that game, so I think it was just a real crazy game.
Okay.
And so talk me through your goal in Hull as soon as you remember that one.
I'm learning something every day.
So you remember your goal in Hull?
My goal in Hull, yeah.
Do you want to talk me through that one if you remember it?
I remember it's Foxy who passed me a pass across, and I had kind of an empty net, and I buried it.
And then so you watched the playoff finals from the box, didn't you?
Exactly, yeah.
And do you remember that playoff finals? Because the first game, was that the one that they really dominated? Was it like, because it was Hull the year before where you won like 10-1.
The only thing I remember is Jordan Fox goals.
Oh, the overtime one.
Yeah, that's the only thing I remember in playoff.
Because were you still?
I can't even tell you who we played in semi-final.
I can't remember the semi-final, but the final against Belfast I can remember because Lacko scored the really weird goal that hit the back of the net and hit the back of Stephen Murphy and dropped it.
Yeah.
Jonathan Weaver scored the one-timer, and then they came back, and then Jordan's goal, which just capped off an incredible season.
Yeah. But yep.
Yeah, so then to wrap up your career as a Grand Slam champion, that must have been a good feeling.
Oh, it's obviously the best way you want to end a career, like winning.
Because were you in Belfast when the league title was sealed? You were over there.
I was there, yeah. I was there, but I didn't play.
Like, you remember what that moment was like there?
I remember that was so intense, and I think the goal, I think it's Gallivan.
Yeah.
Who scored that big goal in the end of the third, I think, or in the middle of the third. I think it's in the end. And that was the first time since I don't know how many years the Panthers didn't win the league.
It was like 1956 or something, I think. If my memory serves correct.
Yeah, that was
I imagine that was an incredible night afterwards.
Yeah.
So then, after that year, did you know you were done then? Did you have no intention?
No, I knew I was kind of done. Yeah, I knew.
And then what did you go into after you finished playing?
My dad had some companies, so I started to work with his companies. And
is that what you're doing now then?
No, I'm a beer rep.
Oh,
I sell beers now. I drink beers and I sell beers.
Oh, you've not been to the beer festival yet? You still got
I didn't go, no. But,
still got 1 day left.
No. So somebody called me, and I love it. Like I have many clients, and I sell all all the beers that we got.
And it's almost like, I know it won't be the same rush, but when you get a sale, it's almost the same kind of like good feeling that when you score a goal, isn't it?
It's never the same.
No,
feeling.
there's not 6,000
Scoring
people.
goal is the best feeling in the world,
So
especially.
there's not 6,000 people cheering you when you get the contract signed.
When you sell beers, it's normal. When you score goals, it's different.
So I've been told to ask you about two certain things by two different people. And you were very reticent to talk about one. So I'll give you the option for me not to ask it now.
Go ahead,
So
I don't mind.
Guy Lepin, you're an avid poker player, from what I hear.
Yeah.
And a very good poker player.
Yeah.
What is it about poker that you enjoy?
You're in a full control of your actions. It's all about math, and I will never say that, but that poker is gambling, because it's not. Poker is not gambling, because you're in full control of your actions. It's not like a 50-50. So I started to play poker, I think, like 18 years ago, and I got better. I read about it, and for like almost 18 years, I play poker almost every day. And when I was in town, I had a lot of free times, and I went to the David-Alexandre, was the biggest like poker room in England. And 1 year, my second year, I won a free seat for a huge tournament. That was, I think, like the first prize was 400 grand, 400,000 pounds, and I won a free seat for that one. And I had to pick one day out of 4 months, one weekend to go there. It was a 2 days tournament. So I decided, like, I look in our schedule. I had to wait on the last month. Says perfect. Like Friday we don't have a game, so I'm gonna go play the first day. If I make it to the second day, we'll see what's gonna happen. So I went to the first day, and I did really, really, really well. So I had a big stack of chips, and I was doing really well. So they told me, okay, now you're gonna show up for a second day. But the second day, that was a Sunday, and we had a game in Edinburgh. So I had a choice to make, and I didn't want to lie to anyone, but in the same time, so I went to see Corey. I said, Corey, we have a game in Edinburgh. It's a guarantee win. If it would be a Sheffield, no, it's a guarantee win. I said, I just passed in a poker run, and I have 1 day left, and I won a seat, and now I'm in the top 20 out of, I think that like 3,200 people who was in that tournament. And I said, I have to go. If I win it, it's 400 grand. It will change my life probably and stuff. And he understood, but he said, I cannot say yes to you. So you have to talk to Gary. So I told Gary that. Gary said no. He said, what I'm gonna say if Neil find out is the owner, I cannot miss you a game for poker. I said, yeah, it's not just a poker day. It's 400 grand at the. So I decided to. I told who did I told Corey. I said, Corey, you can say whatever you want, but I cannot go to the game. I have to go play poker, and the guy will understand. So I told the guys that I was going to play poker, and that was a little snowy day. We had a bus who was leaving town, I think at 1 o'clock in the afternoon, and the guy kind of knew I wasn't in trouble, but they wanted me to help me about that, because they knew how big that day was, and they decided to. Our bus was picking all the time 5 or 6 players in Nottingham, where we live in Sherwood.
Oh, okay.
And that little snowy day, that was nothing. That was exactly nothing. Those players decided to make the stop, make the bus like it was stuck in the snow. We had kind of no snow in the street. So just to help me to have a day, don't worry, we'll take care of it. And that was like, it's all great, our team chemistry, and I'm very like I thanks them, like that was unbelievable what they did just for. So they call it kind of the bus broke down on Altrincham, impossible to go to Edinburgh. So that was kind of a snow day for everyone. Me, I was playing poker, and that was, oh my god, what a story. Like I'm not sure if anybody knew about that, but yeah, they did it for me, and it was great. And it's too bad I didn't win in poker, but I did a really great run, and I lost on a really bad beat. Means that if I was the way I lose in poker, I lost on a really, really, really bad luck. But if I was winning that end that I lost, I would probably be in a top 10 in that tournament. And the top 10 position, I think that was like 42 grand.
Oh, wow.
The 10th place. Yeah, and I got like I hit, I think, the 12% that I couldn't hit. So that card came, and boom, my tournament was done. But at least I came I came short. But yeah, that was a story that the bus broke down, and I don't know, the bus was stuck in the snow with no snow in the street. But at least that was, it's how great our team was.
Yeah.
Like
they would do that for you
to see me in trouble. But it's one thing I couldn't pass.
No, like you said, if you won that,
and I was waiting for 3 months because we had games. I said, no, I cannot go play. And I finally go on a Friday night. I made it to the second day. That was a big day, and that was against Edinburgh. It's not a guarantee, but
it should be.
Normally, it's not because I'm not in the lineup that our team is not good enough. We had, if I was there or not there, we would have keep winning anyway.
Yeah. When I told Guy that you were coming on, he said I had to ask you about that. So you can have a word with him tomorrow about that. That's his fault. And the second one I've been told to ask you is by Gary, and it involves you driving to a 7-Eleven in your car.
Yeah, I was 22 years old. I couldn't speak English really well. We just arriving from a road trip. I was in North Carolina that year, and so on my way back where my place was, I needed breakfast for the next morning, so I stopped in some grocery store. It's around midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning. It's pitch dark in the parking lot. There's no cars except a big truck. So, and I had a blue Probe that year. That was a little sports car. It was blue, and so I parked my car behind that truck. So I go in, and I buy milk, I buy muffins, bread, whatever. When I came out with my bags, I saw the truck and my car's backing up, lights off, slowly, and me in my head right away I said, oh, like I have no cell phone during that time, in those years. I said, now I'm gonna have no car. So what I'm gonna do? So I dropped my bags, and I heard my milk exploded, and I said, at least I'm gonna run at it and show him that at least I see him. And now more I run, and I think I yelled to him, and now he started going faster. So the only thing I thought I'm gonna do, I'm gonna pick up my keys and throw it on my car. Just I have no idea why. He's gonna go anyway, but. So I threw my keys and I missed it, and after that the car just started going faster and faster, and he was gone. And after that, I told myself, I think I started crying. I said, oh my God, what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna have to go back, tell them that my car just got stolen. And but the only thing I had to do, at least, is go grab my keys. They're on the floor because my home keys are on it. So I started walking slowly, and I grabbed my keys on the floor, And when I turned around, I saw that my car was still there. I couldn't. What is the chance at 1 o'clock in the morning, 2 Blue Pro park? Because what happened? It's when I got out. The only that big truck was hiding my car, so it means another Blue Probe parked beside mine at 1 o'clock in the morning when he's got no one around. So imagine the poor guy say, "Who's the crazy guy running at me throwing his keys?" And my car was still parked. That wasn't even my car. That was exactly the same one. But oh my! Imagine if you had a camera in the parking lot. So that crazy guy who's doing it.
If only there was a camera. I'd love to run it over the top of this whole story.
I had to go back and buy more milk. I grabbed stuff. I was just glad that my car was still there. But yeah, that was a.
So how far away from home were you when you thought you'd lost your car?
15 minutes driving.
Okay.
So that was kind of far enough,
Yeah.
especially on the highway.
Well, especially at that time of night as well.
Especially, yeah.
Yeah, no, that is.
And it's never a safe place in the States during those hours.
No, that's crazy.
Yeah.
So outside of hockey and poker, what else do you enjoy to do? Like hobbies?
I play ball. I play slow pitch, softball a lot. I play every single weekend in tournaments. So,
So do
I
you
do
pitch
that
or
a
do you
lot.
hit? Do you pitch or do you hit?
Both.
Both. Oh, is that how it works?
Yeah, that's how it works. Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and I watch a lot of movies and series. So.
Okay. So what's your favorite movie? If you had to pick
Of all time?
yeah, if you had to pick one.
Gladiator.
Oh, okay, good choice.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then favorite TV series.
Homeland, I believe.
Oh, okay.
I really do like Homeland. All the.
Because normally I break it down into favorite and best. Like, if I had to say the best TV show I've ever watched is House.
Okay.
But my favorite is Sons of Anarchy.
Oh yeah, yeah.
That show is the whole reason I have long hair and a beard. I'm not gonna lie. That's exactly what it is.
Yeah, it's funny because in the Sons of Anarchy, I finished the last season. I think 3 months ago.
It's quite
I watched
emotional.
the first 6 long time ago, and I just finished it.
It's quite emotional, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. The thing that got me, and this will be spoiler alert for anyone who's not watched Sons of Anarchy. I'll pause this, skip ahead a minute or so right now. Is remember at the end of season 6 where Tara gets killed?
Yeah.
It's the noise that haunts me still to this day.
Really?
The noise of the thing whatever they did to do it, the sound of the squelching of the fork in their head, it just ugh. But I had that bit ruined for me. So I knew it, and it was my own fault because I googled to buy the series, and then I was like, "Oh, Sons of Anarchy season 6. I want to buy the Blu-ray disc." And it just the first link that came up wasn't the Amazon one that I thought it would be. It was a review of the end of season 6. So I'm there watching this whole thing, just like, I know what's going to happen. She's going to die. I know what's going to happen. So I had the whole thing just spoiled for me. But I really enjoyed that show, and because my favourite story from that show, you know, Walton Goggins, the guy who plays. What's the transgender prostitute?
Yeah.
What's she called? The guy who plays
Yeah.
character.
Yeah.
He was synonymous with a show called The Shield,
Okay.
which is something one that Kurt Sutter directed or produced or something. Who did Sons of Anarchy? Walton Goggins going, I want to be in this show, and Kurt Sutter goes, you can only be in it if you play this character, thinking he's never going to say yes to this, and Walton Goggins just goes, okay. So then he had to put him in the show as that character.
Really?
It's just. I think that the little
That's
things
funny,
like that are just great because I've got to put you in now. So it's great. So what have you got planned for the rest of your time in Nottingham?
I'm not sure, but all guys are coming on Monday, so I'm gonna meet them and probably and we have a dinner on Monday night and we have the game on Tuesday, and during that time just enjoying my time here.
You must be looking forward to seeing guys like obviously Lacko, like Stevie's coming back up now. He plays,
Yeah.
Now he plays for Guildford. That must be.
Yeah.
Even Mark Levers, Corey's coming back. For
Exactly. Yeah, no, it's gonna be fun to see all those guys again.
Do you still talk to those guys at all?
Not enough. You know, it was a special group, but when we all have our own life now and separate, and because we're far away, it's only my Facebook sometime. But and now it's gonna be great to see everyone back.
And I think Linger's here now, isn't he? Or
I'm not sure. I think he's coming today.
Well,
yeah.
I think when he comes in, you'll hear about it. So.
Probably.
Well, thank you for doing this anyway.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Really
Thank
appreciate
you very much.
it.
Thank you.